Hey guys, as promised yesterday, we're going to be taking a look at how to carry War Thunder matches, or more so how to win them. So today I'm going to be taking a look at actually one of the games from yesterday, but with a different view. Is where yesterday we were looking at the tank, the T-55. Today we are going to be taking a look at what is going through my mind and what I am thinking during a battle when I'm respawning, or when I'm doing maneuvers or going into positions and stuff like that. Now this match is very long, as it is a 25-minute match and it ran out of time. So every action and every kill and every death and everything mattered in this battle. It was a very close match. So with that said, I know that there's some fairly aggressive positions I can get to, being that we're fighting the Americans and the British, or the Germans rather. As mentioned yesterday, the T-55 is very mobile, so I wanted to try and just see what I could do, because I was still fairly new. I didn't know what this thing could get away with, so that's what I wanted to find out. So I was purposely being over-aggressive and picking fights, rather than staying far away and sniping. So I'm taking roads that I know I won't get shot down, and I know that I can, I'm areas of the map that I know fairly well, where I'm gonna get shot from, where an enemy tank is likely to be, checking corners, basically just making sure I don't get shot in the side. If something shoots me, it should shoot me right through the front, because I am blind. That's the only reason I should be getting shot right now. So, just trying to get myself into a position where I won't have any issues dealing with enemy tanks, choke points, or anything like that. So I set myself out down this road, and because there is from time to time a leopard that will push down this road. However, there wasn't in this particular battle. So now I know that they will have to cross this road at some point to get past the decap on the respawns, or if they haven't already, if they're slow like a mouse or something like that. So I'm just trying to find a nice covered position, somewhere I can shoot down this road, and just get side shots into them before they get side shots into me. But I spot this leopard, and he becomes my first victim. So, looking around further reveals the Sheridan. Now I'm on a reload, otherwise I would have taken that shot, as the Sheridan wasn't looking at me. Now, I see that shot come through, and I'm not entirely certain what it was from. I see another enemy tank, but I get shot by a third one because I am too far forward. I should not have stayed. I should have fallen back to where I am now the instant I took the shot into that leopard, knowing that there could be more enemy tanks. However, it doesn't end up costing me, because my team is actually competent and saves me. So this leopard puts a shot into me and it bounces because he doesn't know where he's shooting, and he likely doesn't have heat. And that's when a friendly tank from behind takes him out and saves my life. And that action is very important, and was very important to me and my spawn points, as had he done that, I would have likely not taken the same spawn path that I did. But fortunately he does save me, so that leaves me free to take out the Raketen Jagdpanzer, who was completely oblivious to my position and was unaware of the choke point that is this road. So now I'm on a reload, and just kind of waiting. I still have all of my crew, didn't take any serious damage. Notice the Sheridan isn't looking, pop out, set him on fire. So now I'm just kind of thinking while I'm on the reload, because I know I can beat his gunner coming back. Just machine gun him to death, as I was talking about yesterday, how and why I did that. So yeah. Now we're just kind of trying to turn around. Like, I saw that Panzer IV, and I know that if that Panzer IV gets himself into a dangerous position, he can actually be lethal to this team. Side shots into T-55As and stuff like that will be detrimental to this team. So I go when I finish him off, and people that saw the video yesterday know exactly what's about to happen. We actually got flanked by a mouse. So, yeah. Anyway, Mao's flank, best flank. So now I'm going to hop into my T10M. The reason I'm getting my T10M is it's getting into that point in the battle of where you don't know where everyone is going to be. And I saw that Mao's, and I was kind of originally intending on going after that Mao's and potentially saving some teammates. However, the T62 that was there with me actually took him out. Because the Mao's has serious issues penetrating this tank. So, if I'm basically in this for its heavy tank armor, as it is a heavy tank, and its APHE rounds, which will one-shot Leopard, Sheridans, and anything I meet. Now, I didn't really have a plan past that, as we are on the battle mode, which comes very important later. So I see a Mao's, fire on the move, and I managed to shot trap him and set him on fire, actually, which was fairly unfortunate for him, but very fortunate for me. So now we're just kind of on the move, just defending our home capture point, as I knew they were getting close to it, because I was keeping an eye on my mini-map, and just trying to finish off this Mao's, as he is the most important threat to our team right now, as a Mao's against second spawn vehicles can be very lethal. However, this Russian lineup is very, very powerful, probably the most powerful top tier lineup in the game, having a T62, a T10M, a T55, and an IT1, all at top tier. So, the Mao's puts his fire out, and I only have the APHE rounds loaded. I don't take anything else in this tank, because these rounds are plenty good enough for dealing with anything, or so I thought. But normally dealing with a Mao's isn't too big of a deal, but we are going to have a problem with one later in the battle as well. So, just kind of circling him as if I were in a medium tank, and just waiting for the armor to flatten out, as it was giving me issues. Put it right through the same spot I'd hit before, not that that makes any difference, and knock out his crew because I'm firing APHE. So, now I was kind of just pushing up with the team to see how the capture of the point was going, and maybe cap out the game and end it a lot sooner. Spot the Sheridan, it was actually dead, just didn't have time to check with machine guns if it was alive or dead, as it, had I done that, it could have cost a friendly his life. But I see the Panther on the cap circle, and I'm not entirely certain if I could shoot through the train cars, so I just go over top, knock out his gunner, and his breach, so that he cannot harm any other friendly tanks. And then I sit and wait out the reload, as the 122mm reload is not the shortest reload that there is in the game. As soon as I reload, knock out the Panther, and back up. I don't know where many enemy vehicles are at this point, but I do see that Mao's down the street, and he could be an issue, as we saw earlier. So I just need to be careful and aware of my surroundings, and that is when I get taken out once again. So, yeah, Panzer IVs, as I said, they can be quite dangerous. However, I have no idea how that shot penetrated. I mean, from that far away, it should not have happened. So now I get into the T62. As I said, this lineup is very, very strong. My third spawn is just as strong as my almost as strong as my first. It's not like it's a huge downside to be in a T62 over a T55. So, I can still deal with anything on the battlefield, with no real issues. But Mao's can still cause me a problem, as I do not have the Heat FS round for this tank. I only have the stock APDS FS round. So if he's angling his turret and stuff like that, he will give me issues. So now I'm just kind of thinking, okay, I'm low on spawn points. I need to protect this vehicle. This vehicle is what makes or breaks this game for me. I've had 2 mediocre lives with 1 kill and 3 kills. I need to make sure that I can stay in this battle until the end, and this is the vehicle that will decide that. So, I'm kind of should be playing a little bit more cautious than I am. But I'm thinking, oh, we were getting the cap, therefore that means that we're about to cap the game out and win, right? And you'll see the amount that I actually excessively check my team leaderboards. That is honestly because, yeah, I don't understand how that ricocheted either, don't question it. But the amount I check my team leaderboards is mostly because I'm always need to know how many people are left on the battlefield. as that affects how people play. If you're on a team with a lot fewer people and you're playing acts of desperation, you're a lot likely to be more aggressive. If you're on a team that's winning and you have a point and you have tickets in your favor, you're going to play a lot more passively, or generally people will play a lot more passively. So now, with that shot, I took it at the M103 because I know I'm a lot less likely to one-shot that Maus, and that M103 would see where the shot came from. So I'm just trying to take out as many tanks as I can while keeping myself hidden. So the shot into the M103 was the right choice, as it would eliminate an enemy tank, cost the enemy potentially a player, and then that would give me spawn points instead of taking the shot at the Maus, which would give away my position to the M103. But because the M103 is behind the Maus will not see where the shot came from. He will just see his friend exploding. So now I'm moving up to a different position, as that Maus definitely knew where I was when I put my shot into him. So I'm being fairly careful that I don't get shot by that Maus, but I do get kind of tunnel visioned, and I'm not checking corners, which does end up costing me my life. So, lesson here is always check corners, check streets, check everywhere you can constantly be shot from, and make sure your penetration is actually there when shooting at tanks. Don't shoot the angled turret of a Maus. So, I'm kind of getting ready, and I'm checking that street down there, making sure nothing is there. Don't know what that frame stutter is, don't worry about it. So, as we drive between these two buildings, I get taken out by a Maus. And that was rather unfortunate, and now it only left me with spawn points to get my MiG-17, and I don't have any ordnance on my MiG-17. But I'd rather spawn on my MiG-17 than leave the match, because I like winning. So, me sitting in an air superiority fighter isn't the worst thing ever. It will stop any ground attackers that they have. For example, if they spawn at 82, it will be completely useless against my MiG-17, as I will have more than enough time to intercept it and have at least 1 to 2 passes on it before it gets anywhere near the battlefield. So, from here on, for a little while, that's basically what I'm doing, is just protecting my ground forces. That's when I see a plane getting lit up by our AA gun. So I use that to spot it, and I'm going to come back around on it. It is a Horten, which can require a few passes to knock out enemy tanks, which will give me even more time to intercept this Horten. So, bad aim aside, I'm not that great with this MiG-17. I don't fly it all that often, but I can still make it work. So, as this Horten pulls up in front of me, I don't quite give it enough lead initially, and I have to put in a lot more shots into him than I would like, which will limit my loitering time above the above the battleground. But it shouldn't be a huge deal, as if they spawn something slow like an 82, as I said before, I can just take my time getting close, put in one shot. But as we go back, I want to stick very close to the battleground, but I want to stick fairly far away from it as well, and I need to stay fast so that it keeps my advantage up. But I don't want to be shot down by an enemy SPAA, because if an enemy is an SPAA, that usually means that's all they have, and I don't want the spawn points to travel to them, and then that would knock me out of this match. So I'm just kind of going to sit up above their spawn and kind of spawn camp them from the air. Basically, I'm putting myself in a position where I'm going to see them long before they will see me, so that I can keep the element of surprise and give myself easy kills and easy shots with them not knowing where I am. I'm putting tactics above dogfighting skill here, so that I don't need to get in an engagement where they know where I am. If they don't know where I am, they're not going to evade. So I'm just keeping an eye out on the sky, making sure that there's nothing. Like, as soon as I see a dot that isn't something that I need to clean my monitor for, I will engage that dot. However, at this stage of the battle, it was very close, so I wasn't expecting many planes, because of that fact that it is getting into the fairly crucial ground forces stages of the battle, as the enemy have recapped their cap and they actually have the kills and ticket advantage in this battle. as all of the ticket loss that has happened up to this point is actually caused by everyone dying. As if you're not aware, whenever you die, you lose 100 spawn points. Or not 100 spawn points, sorry, you lose 100 tickets. And those 100 tickets add up. And those 100 tickets, what add up, is actually what ends up winning or losing this battle. So, as I'm looking around, I do spot a dot. So it is my job to protect my ground forces from these dots. Or planes, obviously. As I can't do anything to help them, I may as well do everything in my power to save them, because this is all I have in my lineup. Now, the reason that this is in my lineup is specifically for air superiority. I don't have enough crew slots to have all of my top tanks, as well as a ground attacker, so I just don't have one in there. So I take out the 410 pretty easy. He never even had a chance to engage my ground forces, which was my goal. So, and then I put it back into a climb and do the same thing. Just put myself in a holding pattern in a position where I can intercept any enemy vehicle that tries to kill our ground forces. Now, anything that would give me an issue would really be sabers with the H-bars. And that's because they're a top-tier fighter with 12 rockets. That they are capable of killing 6 enemy tanks plus the entire air force of the enemy team if they're spawning low-tier vehicles. As you can see me checking here, I am was considering just getting out of this vehicle and getting into a tank, as I noticed that we had very few left. So, and I also see the IL-10 spawn, and I'm kind of thinking, well, he's most likely going to get shot down by a Gepard. But they didn't have any Gepards, fortunately, at this point. But, something else, I was actually at this point heading towards that J-out zone in front of me, when I see something engaging the IL-10, which was my call to go and defend the IL-10, as he can do a lot more to help our ground forces than I can. So, instead of heading out to the J-out zone, which was my original plan, I see him being engaged, and I head down there. As a member of our team alive, with that much ordnance, if he is competent, would be very, very beneficial to our team at this point in the game. It could give us very crucial positions on the ground. So I see what the plane was engaging him, and I realize it's one of the things that can give me the most issues. A saber. However, it's an A saber, so it's very maneuverable. I need to be very aware of that in this engagement, being that the A saber is slow, but slow but very maneuverable, which makes it a very good ground attacker. However, if I try to run away, which I wasted too much time doing, it will give him passes on our ground targets, which I do mess up a few times, as there was not really much I can do. This guy definitely knew how to play the game of punishing me for running away. But, yeah, so that's going to be an issue for me, is this saber. And I do, as I said, I ran away too long, got too far away, and now he's putting rockets into our tanks, which is very bad, because it's basically free kills. They didn't have to do much to get it, except for being in the plane. So, I switched targets to the Stuka, because the Stuka's still heading towards the battle zone, the tank map. Jesus Christ. Anyways, that's staying in the video, because I've done this too many times. So, now I'm still looking for. I lost sight of that saber, and I need to regain sight. And I see in the battle chat that he just rocketed another tank. And at this point, I'm kind of thinking, man, fuck this guy, because he's doing everything he should be doing, and I'm not doing what I should be doing to defend my team. And I'm not trying to go heads up with him, as me going heads up with him would result in him having guns on me, and his guns are far, far more accurate than mine. So, at this point, I know I have enough spawn points, and I'm also fairly certain he is returning to his base, as he did get a few kills, and he looked like he was doing double drops. 2 rocket drops onto one tank to ensure that it dies. So, I didn't really have the maneuverability to stick with him through that, but we are very close to the airfield, so I want to make it look like I'm going to leave the area. So I gain some altitude and get away from the airfield as it starts lighting me up. But I also realize he's going to land, and he is a major threat to our team. If I let him land, rearm and repair, comes back with a full set of rockets is going to be an issue for our team. So I really need to strafe him out of the runway, and at this point it doesn't matter if I lose my vehicle, as I have the spawn points to get in a tank, and I need to get in a tank, but I need this guy dead when I get in a tank, because if I leave him alive, Jay out and get in a tank, I won't have any spawn points left. But I need to get in a tank, and I have the spawn points to do that, but he needs to be gone, because he'll just take me out, and then I'll have nothing. So, I know that if I don't completely kill him on the runway, like kill his pilot, or rip off both wings, or something like that, he will just repair, and I don't actually see him on the runway until very late. So I put a burst into him, and I'm very low on ammo, and it didn't actually kill him, because my aim is absolutely trash. So I disengage from the airfield, turn around, put it into a loop, and he actually overshot the runway slightly. So I do get the kill feed, however, I know he's still alive, I know he's going to repair. I need to finish him off. But I run out of ammo, and don't finish the guy on the runway. But at this point, we have lost almost our entire ground force, and I need to get into a tank. As I know that any minute now they're going to start capturing our point, and if they cap that point, we lose this match. So I need to switch, but I don't want to just leave my vehicle as, well, I'm broke on lines at this point, I couldn't really afford to repair things. So I'm in a very fast jet, and there's the cap. So I know I'll have more than enough time. It's a 4-minute cap. I need to get out of this vehicle without paying repair costs because I'm broke, and get in a tank. So on my way back, I have lots of time to think about what I want to be in. I have spawn points to do anything. As from shooting down a few planes, you get a lot of them. So I'm looking. I have a backup on my T10, and I know there's a few Mauses out there. That's really going to help me deal with those Mauses, especially if the Mauses have made it to the cap this late in the game. And it will give me the survivability to deal with leopards and more than one enemy. So I get to the J-out zone, bail out of my vehicle, which doesn't pay repair costs if you are in the J-out zones, and I get into the T10. The T10 is the perfect tank for the situation. Mauses can't deal with it, and I know they have a few. Lower tier vehicles, such as the Panthers and stuff like that, will have huge problems with it. So basically, it's a very good late game tank, as there's going to be a lot less Leopards and a lot less Sheridans and a lot less M60s out there, but a lot more of those people's second and third spawns this late in the match. So that's kind of what I'm banking on getting in the T10. Now, I do get shot from Jagdpanzer 4-5, but he tries to rush me while he's reloading, and I just turn around and put one through his upper front plate, which isn't hard because it's absolutely paper. And then I continue pushing on to defend our capture point, as I know how close this battle is getting to the end. So I know every action at this point matters. This is the most crucial part of the battle. These last 2 minutes are what wins or loses this game. So I see this Maus, I put a shot into him, I hit his mantlet, unfortunately, not his turret cheeks. This guy is a Maus driver who definitely knows what he was doing though, because he always angles his turret away until I am reloading. So I know I have to be cautious of this guy. Now that A-Saber fortunately just killed himself, which basically cost him the game. So I yellow his breach and take out his gunner. However, there are 2 Mauses on the cap, and at this point I only have 2 minutes left to cap. They do have enough time to do it. I will have to do something eventually if I cannot kill this Maus. But I see the other one that takes a shot into me, and I realize that the other one was angling away. Another poorly placed shot, and I have to make my move. I have to keep them from capturing this point. So, T10 is doing what it's meant to do and tanking shots. Now this Maus wasn't the brightest, however I don't have the shells to penetrate that because I only have APHE. After this I have definitely loaded some of the heat for close range engagements against Mauses like this. But basically my point is just to sit here and tank as many shells as I can. The tickets are going to be how the tickets are. It's basically come down to 100 tickets at this point. Now I know that if I die, this match is a draw. But if I fall back from this cap, we lose because they cap the point. So that Maus looked like he was going to try and flank, which would have been the smart thing to do, but the match ends. We won by 100 tickets. So, that's how you win games. It's basically balls to the wall manage your spawn points, know what you're doing, and victories will come your way. So, anyone that's still here 25 minutes into the video, make sure you gently caress that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys next time.